Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So there is one small story. Story means is an analogy. Like there were three soldiers. They were shown some bricks, and one of them said, "Oh, this is mismanagement. Bricks are lying here there." And one more soldier was shown the bricks. Then he said, "Oh, the bricks are meant for construction. Good, they're there, they're like that." And the third soldier was shown the bricks. He said, "What are you seeing this?" He said, "I am seeing a girl." He said, "How girl? You are seeing the bricks." He says, "No, I am seeing a girl only." What does it mean? that is his meditation. So wherever he looks, he is getting the object of his meditation only. So similarly, Bhishma Dev, even though in front of him Krishna is there, he is seeing Vijay Sakhe only. His meditation is on that form of Krishna is a driver of chariot driver of Arjuna. That's why he is addressing Krishna as a third person. If you see all these shlokas, he addresses Krishna as third person. So this is a very important understanding we have. Like we see gopis. Gopis also, wherever they are seeing Krishna only. And they are seeing any plant, any tree, any bird, they are seeing Krishna. So their absorption is Krishna, like that. So here we can see a very interesting meditation. So what is speciality of Vishnudev prayers is he is explaining the how to meditate on the personal form of Lord. That is speciality of Vishnudev's prayers. So first he is telling, see, I don't have anything. I'll offer gift as my thoughts, my consciousness, my mind I want to offer. Mind means we understood it's thoughts, feeling, thinking, feeling, willing. So three things he's offering. We'll just read the translation because today from this side we'll end our Vishnudev prayers. But I just want to summarize. So first prayer he's telling, okay, I want to give a gift. We also discuss thinking, feeling, willing means these are the three things. Change of heart means changing, thinking, feeling, willing. And then the next prayer is, this is his meditation. Tribhuvana Kamam Tamala Varanam. Now he says, now his body is covered with dust. Dust means it's not very clean, right? Something is covering with the dust and all, and so much. So what does dust mean? There is a saying in Sanskrit that something is beautiful is always beautiful. Sundaram kim asundaram. They say if something is beautiful, it is always beautiful. So Krishna, even he's beautiful, is covered with dust, still he's beautiful only. So this is the first thing. So attractive, be the object of my attraction, this form which is covered with dust on the battlefield. And he says dust is rising from the hospitals. Also he says that there is sweat on the face. What does sweat on the face means? He's working hard. Working, we all get sweat when we work hard. And Krishna is working hard. Why is working hard? For Arjuna. Yeah. You can type the question through again. Srijan. So I will answer the question. So this is about meditation. So second is oh, you are working very hard to please your devotees. Krishna also works very hard. So this is about this shloka, which is telling about how Krishna is working hard, and my arrows are piercing him. That Vishnu Chakra Thakur gives us very rasic commentary. You will hear tomorrow that I will not touch it. And then he says, in obedience to the command, now he kept Arjuna in a bewildered situations and he delivers him. And another thing he does, with his glance, he is removing all the prarabdha karma of all the opposite parties. So we discuss it is compassion. So here he is keeping Arjuna in a bewildered state and is delivering him. So that is his another meditation. So he's meditating on that form of Lord only, even though Krishna is standing in front of him. And then he says, to fulfill my vow. This is another thing what Krishna is trying to do. So for my vow, he has run and he left. And in this pastime, what Bhishmadev is saying, Bhishmadev is saying that when Krishna jumped from the chariot and he took and ran towards me, he's only thinking of Arjuna's protection. And when Arjuna jumped from the chariot and was holding Krishna's feet and pushing into the earth, that time Arjuna is only thinking of Krishna. So they are not thinking of themselves. This is the difference in a spiritual life and a material life. This we have discussed many times. I'll just tell this point. But today is also we have very important discussion. The last shloka and after that 2 shlokas by Sutta Goswami. But here, what is important is the absorption is what happens in the material world is people, they are so much absorbed in their problems. This is the problem. I will tell what it means. Like there are here, there is so much absorption we have. This is called self-centeredness. Self-centered, the center of being in their own small self. They are trying to enjoy this small, narrow world inside myself. So what happens is there is a shell of false ego, and we are sitting in that. Even when we rise to Krishna, our shell says, "Hey, where are you going? What are you doing?" So what happens is when we want to think about Krishna, the thoughts goes there, but quickly come back again. It is reflected. It is bounced. If you throw a ball, it bounces. And bounces against what? Against the false ego. So that is a problem. Even though there is Brahma Jignasa, the desire to escape from the captivity from this material world, but it runs into the walls of false ego. False ego walls blocks them. It says, wait a minute, where are you going? You have so much to do in this material world. You have such an important decision, such an important commitments, and so much responsibility you have, and all these things. How you know whether it is bouncing by our false ego or not? Morning when you sit for chanting, how much time we are able to think of Krishna, based on we can decide. If our thoughts are not many times Krishna, that means our false ego is bouncing. Say, wait a minute, there is something more important to think about. So this is what is happening, the false ego. So false ego, we are sitting there, and when we want to rise to Krishna, they say, okay. But there is, it's not so easy to escape. So, but there is nothing to do except for ourselves. We think, oh, because the waves of our mind are in our consciousness. There are always waves that are going on. We want freedom, but because we ourselves have faced in the situations in a prison, we are not able to get that freedom because we have the opportunity to enjoy little happiness, little grief. And we think, oh, it's such an important thing. I am such in a problem situation. My problem is this, my situation is this, and our happiness and all these things. So it's very difficult to think of Krishna. That's why there are 2 things that are what happens in this world. Either we enjoy our happiness, we enjoy our grief, we enjoy our feelings, our emotions, and then we get tired. When we get tired, what we want to do? We are fatigued, we want to sleep, deep sleep. That is a desire for liberation. So one is karma, one is jnana. So how initially when they are in a good state, in a passionate state, they run, they jump, they think how important I am, how wonderful I am, how much I have achieved. This is my empire, this is my kingdom, my 3 BHK, my 2 BHK, my achievement, my success. Take a look at it and then worship me and follow me and like me. And then if everything goes, then there is, oh, it's all meaningless. Let us go to sleep. Everybody want to sleep. See, if you are enjoying whole day, why you want to sleep? Sleeping means it is boring. So here, Arjuna is thinking of Krishna and Krishna is thinking. What happens in this material world is people they don't find meaning in life. They cannot find it, no matter how much they try. People try to find in themselves in different activities, but it does not. It's full of void in the heart because they may have everything. They have sons, grandsons, daughters, children, wife, kingdom, means whatever the apartments they have. They have work, they have cars, previously elephants and horses, everything. But what? No happiness. Why? Because there is no connection. That is the point. The problem is connection is not there. Anyway, we have discussed it many times. So I want to come to so further. The next shloka is telling, yes, you have awarded salvation to all these people, and on the battlefield he charged me as if angry because the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered and his body was smeared with blood due to wounds. And it is said that the battle was full of blood only, and Krishna jumped into the blood and he was running towards Krishna. So can you imagine? It was like so much blood. And then he says that at the moment, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjuna. He is seeing Krishna in front, but he is saying, no, I want to meditate on Arjuna, who stood with a whip in his right hand. And that is what Bhishma Deva's meditation is. And then he says, yeah, gopis. Of course, there is in between one Rajasuya sacrifice also he mentions. What Bhishma Deva is telling, Shishupala stood there and he was speaking, shouting at you. But thing was, that time there is no democracy. So nobody took Shishupal very seriously. And democracy means everybody can make their own opinion. But previously, fortunately, it was not democracy. So this is very important. Shishupal, if he fights for, he was fighting election, campaigning against Krishna. And democracy means what? For government, this is only for envious people. Democracy is for people who want democracy, means they are just envious people. Otherwise, previous ages, people are little less envious. So Shishupal represents what? Envy. That's why he was standing campaigning against Krishna. He said, no, I don't vote for Krishna. And then he said, okay, come. So he says, Krishna is there everyone, but I have my own Krishna. My God is there everywhere, but I worship my specific God. So this is what is, and even the gopis also have the same thing that I have. And now we'll come to our verse today's. What Bhishma Dev is asking. Bhishma Dev says there is nothing. What exactly he wanted. So we will read today's verse. So he says, okay, let my he praises gopis, and then this verse also we discussed yesterday. At the Rajasuya sacrifice performed Yudhishthir, then this happened during my presence. I remember the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. So what he says is, I want rati, I want attraction. So Shishupal could not stand. He's envious. Okay, so this is I think this is the last prayer of Bhishma Dev, and we'll see what happened to Bhishma Dev. This is interesting. This is now I can meditate upon with full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even in the heart of mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. So this concept of duality I will not take now. This is a very big topic. So I'll just read the purport and I'll answer the question. Lord Sri Krishna is one, absolute supreme personality of Godhead, but he has expanded himself into his multi-plenary portions and multi-differentiated portions by his inconceivable energy. The conception of duality is due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that Only the foolish take him to be a mere human being. Such foolish men are not aware of his inconceivable energies. By his inconceivable energy, he is present in everyone's heart, as the sun is present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy, and he also expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahmajyoti. By expansion of his personal glow, it is stated in Brahma Samhita that the Brahmajyoti is his personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his personal glow. Brahmajyoti are his plenary portions as Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahmajyoti and Paramatma to be different from Sri Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Vishnudev and is now satisfied that it is Lord Sri Krishna only who is all in everything. This enlightenment is attained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita that Vasudev is all in everything, and that there is no existence of anything without Vasudev. Vasudev or Lord Sri Krishna is the original supreme personality, as now confirmed by Bhishmadev. Since Bhishmadev is one of the 12 Mahajans or great authorities, both the neophytes and pure devotees must try to follow in his footsteps. That is the way of devotional life. The worshipable object of Bhishmadev is Lord Sri Krishna as Parthasarathi, and that of the gopis is same Krishna in Vrindavan as the most attractive Shamsundar. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that Krishna of Vrindavan and that of the battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhishmadev, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist object of distinction is Krishna as the impersonal Jyoti, and the yogi's destination of Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma are not fully representations of Krishna. In Krishna, there are both Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma, but in Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relation with Krishna. In his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Shamsundar of Vrindavan. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahma Jyoti nor in Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhishmadev realize all these different features of Lord Sri Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Krishna with one pointed attention, knowing him as the original of all features. If one gets more and more realization, they will enjoy the purports more and more. Because you see, the same impersonal thing why Prabhupada is going to mention many times. Because it is sadhana. We have to hear again and again so that the misconceptions get evaporated in our consciousness. Now here Bhishmadev ends. But interestingly, there is no Vimana coming for Bhishmadev. Question, why is it there is no aeroplane coming from Bhishmadev? And what happens to Bhishmadev? What Sudha Goswami says? He says, Sudha Goswami said, thus Bhishmadev engaged himself in the super soul, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions, and he became silent and his breathing stopped. So, Atman Evatmanam Aveshya, so Antaswasa Uparamat. So, he says, Krishna evam Bhagavati Manova Drishti Vittibhi. So, just Vishnu stop. So, now Prabhupada gives the stage attained by Bhishmadev while quitting this material body is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is actually in the next shloka also the same. Brahma Nishkale. So, Brahma Nishkale means merged in Brahma. So, how Bhishmadev merged in Brahma? We'll discuss. We'll read these two purports and then we'll have discussion. Why Bhishmadev merged in Brahma? What does it mean? Brahma Nirvikalpa Samadhi, because he merged himself into thinking of Lord by engaging his mind in remembering the Lord's different activities, his speech in chanting the glories of Lord, and his sight in seeing the Lord personally present before him. Thus, all his activities become concentrated upon the Lord without deviation. This is the highest stage of perfection. It is possible for everyone to attain this stage of practice of devotional service. Devotional service of the Lord consists of 9 processes of serving activities, and they are hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet, worshipping, praying, executing the orders, patronizing, and fully surrendering. Any one of them or all of them are equally competent to avoid the desired result, but they require to be practiced persistently under the guidance of an expert devotee of the Lord. The first item, hearing, is the most important item of all, and therefore hearing of Bhagavad Gita and later on Srimad Bhagavatam is essential for the serious candidates who want to attain the stage of Bhishmadev at the end. The unique situation of Bhishmadev's time of death can be attained even though Lord Krishna may not be personally present. His words of the Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam are identical with the Lord. They are sound incarnation of the Lord, and one can fully utilize them to be entitled to attain the stage of Sri Bhishmadev, who was one of the 8 Vasus. Every man or animal must die at certain stage of life, but one who dies like Bhishmadev attains perfection, and one who dies forced by the laws of nature dies like an animal. That is the difference between a man and an animal. Human form of life is especially meant for dying like Bhishmadev. Prabhupada has some golden lines. Human life is especially meant for dying like Bhishmadev. So I'll just answer the question in the chat box. Then we the question is, generally we take a responsibility for family or service. Most of times either it becomes irresponsible in the name of detachment or become attached to it. How do we balance, like Parikshit Maharaj, such as we are responsible and same time ready to surrender it in death? So how this happens is when we don't do with our false ego. When we start doing it as a service to the Lord, then only it is possible. So generally what happens is when we do something, we want to enjoy that activity, and that is because of our false ego. The things goes like that. So we have this identification with it. We want to get pleasure from it, then we get attached to it. If you don't want pleasure for any activity, we will not get any bondage. There is no attachment. But now the problem is, without a motivation, we don't do the activity. Say now now I want to give a class. Now I should be attached to the result. Otherwise, I will not have motivation. Why I should give class? It should I should get something from it. I will expect, okay, I should get some donation from the people whom I give the class. Just for example, I don't want any donation, but that can be a motivation. So that motivates me to, like, Bhagavad Katha kas are there. They want to give Katha. They say at the end of my Katha, I should get at least 10 lakh rupees. So he's having a motivation to do it, and because of which is very attached and he's doing it, and it keeps him. But what happens is, in fact, so the motivation is what makes attachment or no attachment. So most of the people, they are caught up with this state. They are attached to the results. But Krishna is telling that is not the way to work. The way to work is we have to do it because we have a higher motivation. Then we'll not have a problem. And like what happens is we will get used to certain without like mother is attached to the child. Otherwise, how it is possible to serve the child? The things the child do, and if mother is not attached, it is impossible only. But what happens is slowly we have to come to a state that they don't belong to me. They belong to Krishna. Krishna gave me for some time to take care of it, and we are very responsible for it, and we want to take care of it, and we will do it also nicely. But ultimately, I want to do it for Krishna. So this is actually what the motivation should be for devotees. And don't try to enjoy, no attachment. If I enjoy, then only there is attachment. And that without the motivation for enjoyment is actually the wrong motivation. Motivation to serve is the right motivation. So the ego should be kept aside. Our problem with these things, why we have the problem is, this is all because of enjoying mentality. It is not responsibility. Of course, that is the problem with Brahmacharya. Very lazy. I know I'm almost lazy. Why lazy? No motivation only. We have Nothing to do, nothing to achieve. I say, cool. I have some, okay, give class, and then after that, you have another class to prepare, another class, and then cool. Not much, because, but we should have this. Okay, let me do more for Krishna, more for Krishna, more for Krishna. And then you get no get, does not matter only. It's for Krishna only I did. The whole life, if you do for Krishna, and then that time Krishna says, okay, give back everything. I want to give you something else. This is okay, Krishna. Let it. So this is God. So same thing happened to Bhishmadev also. Now, and with all the great devotees, when Krishna says, okay, give it back, they say, okay, Krishna, fine. I am okay, I'm ready to give. So he didn't have any problem. So this is where our hard work comes. This is where our sadhana comes. So they only want to ask one thing: Krishna, give me rati, give me love for you. It does not need any like no. Why aeroplane did not come for Vishwadev? Aeroplane comes for who want to have some farewell little excursion in between. For them, Vimana comes. For Vishwadev, it is not needed. Just he left. He can he need not to fly anywhere. Just have to. He was right away in Vaikuntha only. So what I have seen is the devotees who are doing very good sadhana, their absorption changes, their motivation changes. So slowly we have to work on motivations. Then we have to be responsible, we have to be affectionate, and we have to go through that. See, very important. This one point you remember of all the answer. If you don't remember whole answer, just remember this one point which I am telling. Unless we have right type of attachments, we cannot get detachment. We should have first right attachments, then slowly we'll get detached. If you don't develop that right attachments, then to get detachment is very difficult. It will be artificial. It will stay for some time. It will be raga and dvesha. Attachment, aversion. Attachment, aversion. We should not be in raga dvesha platform. Sometimes we are attached. Sometimes this family, I'll just want to run away to Himalayas. I don't want to. I want to go to Vrindavan and give up this family. So that type of mentality, that is wrong, because it is coming out of frustration. No, it should not be like that. We should have first proper Krishna conscious attachment, then detachment automatically follows. No need to separately cultivate also detachment. We have to correct attachment means in relation to Krishna. Krishna gave me, I should be responsible for them. So you feel for them because they are connected to Krishna. They are given by Krishna. If somebody, you like somebody so much and they give you some valuable thing, keep it very safely. So in that way we are attached. So the right attachment, that's what is Karma Yoga is giving. Karma Yoga is a right type of attachment, right type of training. So the person gets, eventually he gets detached from it. Like say, if you want to, I have this experience. I was eating mangoes so many times here, there. But when you sit properly, cut the mangoes and offer it to Lord, sit properly and eat. Slowly, our attachment to mangoes will reduce. We may have, but will not have. Uh, yeah. Bhishmadev did not merge. This is this for impersonist for them. He went to spiritual world only, but the shloka, the word is like that. I will explain. I will come to that point again. So, what I am telling about Prabhuji's question is right attachment is very much important. Then only you will get right detachment. So, I was giving example. If you want to get detached from mangoes, you purchase mangoes. There's so much attraction to something. You nicely cut it, offer it to Krishna, pray to him, then take it. Then you will not hanker for mangoes so much. Anything like that. If you do it in a proper way, properly you do it, offer it to Krishna, understand the connection with Krishna of the family, do it properly, seeing the connection, then we'll get detached. That is very much possible. I have some experience with the things. Of course, not all, but some things I am seeing that, okay, this I was having so much, but I was doing it right, then I am out of it. Like that. So here, Bhishmadev, what happens is, I'll just read the next purport also. Then, is it clear, bro? You are okay with the answer, Sujan? Okay. Okay, thank you. So we will go for the next para and then we will, I will explain what Prabhupada is telling here. So this is a, knowing that Vishnudev has merged into the unlimited eternity of Supreme Absolute. All present there became silent like birds at the end of day. So this is what is mentioned here. He merged into the ultimate eternity of Absolute. But Prabhupada gives what does it mean. Now what happens is the impersonalists who give commentary on Bhagavatam, they go to such verses. They say, see, what happened to Vishnu? This is not Krishna. Even though Krishna is there, he merged somewhere else. This is their understanding. But Prabhupada says, to enter into or to become merged into the unlimited eternity of Supreme Absolute means to enter the original home of living beings. The living beings are all component parts and parcels of absolute truth, the absolute personality of God. Therefore, they are eternally related with Him as the servitor and the served. The Lord is served by all His part and parcels as the complete machine is served by its part and parcels. This is important. Parts, na, if you don't have a car, you will not purchase the spare parts of a car. They are of useless. So, for us also, if we are not connected to the complete, we also remain useless. That is why we feel no meaning in life. People don't feel meaning in life because they are not connected to the Lord. That's what happens. They have everything. I was telling, wife, children, car, bungalow, everything they have, but they don't find meaning in life. That is not possible only. We should not be in illusion that, oh, so much they have. But they will not have meaning because they have not connection to the Lord. This should be convinced. That's what, when Prabhupada went to America, he was completely convinced. They are not connected to Krishna, they cannot be happy, no matter whatever they have. With full confidence, he went taking Bhagavatam. And then it's true also. They all took Bhagavatam and they were very happy. He said, yes, now this is what we wanted. So Prabhupada knows that this is not possible because Bhagavatam is saying, Prabhupada is writing also here, not possible. We should not be anytime illusion seeing the celebrities or any sports people or any big people in this world or any big industrialist. No connection to Krishna, they will not find any meaning in life. They may be working hard. It's actually modes of nature only are forcing them to work hard. It's not even the soul is simply observing. It's all modes of material nature they manifest. And to the degree, the intense desire of a living entity to enjoy, to that degree, the modes will make him perform such activities. It's proportionate. If a living entity is very ambitious, very big desires, like Hiranyakashipu, he'll become a big person. It's a desire of the living entity that is making it. Ultimately, it's a prakriti only manifesting like that. It's all three modes of material nature, they are manifesting in that way. So that should be clear. So here Prabhupada writes further in that, as any part of a mission removed from the whole is no longer important. Similarly, any part and parcel of absolute detached from the service of Lord is useless. The living beings who are in the material world are all disintegrated part and parcels of the supreme whole, and they are no longer as important as the original part and parcels. There are, however, more integrated living beings who are eternally liberated. The material energy of the Lord, called Durga Shakti, or the superintendent of the prison house, takes charge of the disintegrated parts and parcels. They are undergone a conditioned life under the laws of material nature. So, if you don't want to be Krishna, be under Durga Devi. When the living being becomes conscious of this fact, he tries to go back home, back to Godhead. And thus the spiritual urge of the living being begins. This spiritual urge is called Brahma Jignasa, or inquiry about Brahman. Principally, this Brahma Jignasa is successful by knowledge, renunciation, and devotional service of the Lord. Jnana or knowledge means knowledge of everything of Brahman, the Supreme. Renunciation means detachment from material affection, and devotional service is the revival by practice of original position of the living entity. The successful living being who are eligible to enter into the realm of absolute are called Jnanis and Yogis and the Bhaktas. The Jnanis and Yogis enter into the impersonal race of Supreme. but the Bhaktas enter into the spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas. In these spiritual planets, the Supreme Lord as Narayana predominates, and the healthy, unconditioned living beings live there by rendering loving service to the Lord in the capacity of servant, friends, parents, and fiancés. There the unconditioned living beings enjoy life in full freedom with the Lord, whereas the impersonalist jnanis and yogis enter into the impersonal glowing effulgence of the Vaikuntha planet. The Vaikuntha planets are all self-illuminating like the sun, and the rays of the Vaikuntha planets are called Brahmajyoti. The Brahmajyoti is spread unlimitedly, and the material world is but a covered portion of an insignificant part of the same Brahmajyoti. This covering is temporary, and therefore it is a sort of illusion. So Prabhupada is making it clear. Bhishmadev is a pure devotee of Lord, entered the spiritual realm in one of the Vaikuntha planets. There the Lord in his eternal form as of Parthasarthi predominates over the unconditioned living beings who are constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. The love and affection which binds the Lord and the devotees are exhibited in the case of Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev never forgets the Lord in his transcendental feature as Parthasarthi. Then Lord was present personally before Bhishmadev while he was passing to the transcendental world. This is a perfection of life. So this is actually what happened to Bhishmadev. So when it is said this is merged, is actually not merged in impersonal Brahman. Actually, he entered into the spiritual world. This is what we should understand, and this is what is Prabhupada is trying to make us explain. So merging here is it's actually Brahma Nishkalam means Nishkalam Brahman without parts, and Nishkalam means you are entering into it. So, and now it is saying, knowing that he has merged, they all became silent. What does this silence means? Silence means they didn't understand what happened. Although become silent means the birds become silent at the end of night. Why? Out of ignorance. They don't know what happened to sun, they think. So similarly, when they saw Vishnudev, they said, what happened to him? So they become silent. So in the same way, people who were present at the time did not understand what happened. And not understanding what happened, they were silent. So like that. And bhakti is actually very dynamic, because prema means there is no peace in the heart. It is always active. But that's actually Yashodama is complete anxiety all the time. But it is the highest level of prema. So, but people now in this world, they want Shanti, 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 Shanti. 3 times Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Why 3 times Shanti? Adi Bhaudika, Adhyatmika, Adi Devika Kleshas. So 3 types of Kleshas are there. That's why people want this Shanti from all these 3 things. That's why it is 3 times Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. So for us, it is not Shanti. For us, it is Prema. So people, we want to take a break from our activity, and when some day comes when we don't have classes, so we have so this is what we'll go for the next shloka. This is what happened to Bhishmadev, but now another of course there is some glorification of Bhishmadev that also happens now with the other verse. So here, therefore, both the demigods, we will try to complete few shlokas. Therefore, both men and demigods Drums in honor and the highest royal order commenced demonstration of honor and respect, and from the sky fell showers of flowers. Purport. Bhishmadev was respected both by human beings and by the demigod. The human beings live on Earth and similarly other planets in the Bhu and Bhuvar group of planets. But the demigods live in the Swar or heavenly planets, and all of them knew Bhishmadev as a great warrior and a devotee of the Lord, as a Mahajan or authority. He was on the level of Brahma, Narada, and Shiva, although he was a human being. Qualification on a par with great demigods is possible only on attainment of spiritual perfection. Thus, Bhishmadev was known all over the universe, and during this time, interplanetary travel was affected by finer methods than the futile endeavor of mechanical spacecraft. When the distant planets were informed of the passing away of Bhishmadev, all the inhabitants of upper planets as well as of the earth dropped showers of flowers to show due respect to the departed great personality. The showering of flowers from the heaven is a sign of recognition by great demigods, and it should never be compared to the decoration of a dead body. Now, while dead bodies, they are also thrown to us. Body of Bhishmadev lost its material effects due to being surcharged with spiritual realization, and thus the body was spiritualized as when iron becomes red hot when in contact with fire. The body of a fully self-realized soul is not therefore accepted as material. That's why we do samadhi. That's proper. Special cremations are observed for such spiritual bodies. The respect and the recognition of Bhishmadev was never to be imitated by artificial means, as it has become a fashion to observe so-called Jayanti ceremony for anyone and every common. According to authorized Shastras, such a Jayanti ceremony for an ordinary man, however exalted he may be materially, is an offense to the Lord. So Gandhi Jayanti is an offense to the Lord because Jayanti is reserved for the day when the Lord appears on the earth. Bhishmadev was unique in his activity, and his passing away to the kingdom of God is also unique. We should not do Jayanti for Ambedkar Jayanti, Gandhi Jayanti, all these Jayantis. Even though they may be materially very good, but it's an offense to the Lord. They cannot be counted amongst them. So, a descendant of Bhrigu, after performing funeral rituals of the dead body of Bhishmadev, Maharaj Yudhishthir was momentarily overtaken with grief. So, this is very nice purport. Prabhupada writes very nice point. You can read this. Bhishmadev was not only a great family head, not only a great family head of Maharaj Yudhishthir, but also he was a great philosopher and friend to him. His brothers and his mother, since Pandu Maharaj, the father of the 5 brothers headed by Maharaj Yudhishthir, had died, Bhishmadev was the most affectionate grandfather of the Pandavas and caretaker of the widow daughter-in-law Kunti Devi. Although Maharaj Dhritarashtra, the elder uncle of Maharaj Yudhishthir, was there to look after them, his affection was more on the side of his 100 sons headed by Duryodhana. Ultimately, as a colossal colic was fabricated to deprive the 5 fatherless brothers of their rightful claim of the kingdom of Hastinapur. There was great intrigue common in imperial places, and the 5 brothers were exiled to the wilderness. But Bhishmadev was always a sincerely sympathetic well-wisher, grandfather, friend, and philosopher of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Even up to the last moment of his life, he died very happily to see Maharaj Yudhishthir to the throne. Otherwise, he would have long ago quitted his material body. Instead of suffering agony over the undue sufferings of the Pandavas, he was simply waiting for the opportune moment because he was sure and certain that the sons of Pandu would come out victorious in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, as his lordship Sri Krishna was their protector. As a devotee of the Lord, he knew that the Lord's devotees cannot be vanquished at any time. Maharaj Yudhishthira was quite aware of all these good wishes of Bhishmadev, and therefore he must have been feeling the great separation. He was sorry for the separation of great soul, and for that, not for the material body which Bhishmadev relinquished. So Yudhishthira not suffering because he's feeling separation of the spiritual person. The funeral ceremony was was a necessary duty. Although Bhishma Dev was a liberated soul, since Bhishma Dev was without issue, the elder son, namely Yudhishthir Maharaj, was the rightful person to perform this ceremony. It was a great boon to Bhishma Dev that an equally great son of the family undertook the last rites of a great man. So it is Bhishma Dev is that level of caliber person. Last rites are done by Yudhishthira Maharaj. He is also of that caliber. So in that way, it is very special activity. All the great sages then glorified Lord Sri Krishna, who was present there by confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. The devotees of the Lord are always in the heart of the Lord, and Lord is always in the heart of the devotees. This is the sweet relation between the Lord and his devotees. Due to unalloyed love and devotion for the Lord, the devotees always see him within themselves and Lord also. Although he has nothing to do and nothing to aspire to, he is always busy in attaining to the welfare of his devotees. For the ordinary living beings, the laws of nature is there for all actions and reactions. But he is always anxious to put his devotees on the right path. The devotees, therefore, are under the direct care of the Lord, and the Lord also voluntarily put himself under the care of his devotees only. So all the sages headed by Vyasadeva were devotees of the Lord, and therefore they chanted the Vedic hymns after the funeral ceremony just to please the Lord, who was present there personally. All the Vedic hymns are chanted to please Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. All the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, etc. are seeking him only, and all hymns are for glorifying him only. The sages therefore performed the exact act suitable for the purpose, and they happily departed for their respective hermitages. So thereafter, Maharaj at once went to his capital Hastinapur, accompanied by Lord Sri Krishna, and there he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari, who was an ascetic. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, the father and mother of Duryodhana, and his brothers were the elder uncle and aunt of Maharaj Yudhishthira. After the battle of Kurukshetra, the celebrated couple, having lost all their sons and grandsons, were under the care of Maharaj Yudhishthira. They were passing their days in great agony over such a heavy loss of life, and were practically living the life of ascetics. The death news of Bhishmadev, uncle of Dhritarashtra, was another great shock for the king and the queen. Therefore, they required solace from Maharaj Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira was conscious of his duty, and he at once hurried to the spot with Lord Krishna and satisfied the bereaved Dhritarashtra with kind words from both himself and Lord also. Gandhari was a powerful ascetic. Although she was living a life of faithful wife and a kind mother, it is said that Gandhari also voluntarily blindfolded her eyes because of the blindness of her husband. The wife's duty is to follow the husband's 10%. Gandhari was so true to her husband that she followed him even in his perpetual blindness. Therefore, in her action, she was a great ascetic. Besides that, the shock she suffered because of the wholesale killing of her 100 sons and her grandsons also was certainly so much for a woman. But she suffered all this just like an ascetic. Gandhari, although woman, is no less than Bhishmadev in character. They were both remarkable personalities in Mahabharata. This is Prabhupada's conclusion. One last verse, we'll complete this chapter. After this, the great religious king Maharaj Yudhishthira executed the royal power in the kingdom strictly according to the codes of royal principles approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna. Maharaj Yudhishthira was not a mere tax collector. He was always conscious of his duty as a king, which is no less than that of a father or a spiritual master. The king is to see to the welfare of the citizens from all angles of social, political, economic, and spiritual upliftment. The king must know that the human life is meant for liberation and liberating the engaged souls from the bondage of material conditioning. Therefore, his duty is to see that the citizens are properly looked after to attain the highest stage of perfection. Maharaj Yudhishthira, following these principles strictly, as will be seen from the next chapter. Not only did he follow the principles, but he also got approval from his old uncle, who was experienced in political affairs, and that was also confirmed by Lord Krishna, the speaker of philosopher of Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj Yudhishthira is the ideal monarch and a trained king like Maharaj. Maharaj Yudhishthira is by far more superior from a government to modern republics or governments of people by the people. The mass of people, especially in this age of Kali, are all born Shudras, basically low-born, ill-trained, unfortunate, and badly associated. They themselves do not know the highest perfectional aim of life. Therefore, vote cast by them actually have no value, and thus persons elected by such irresponsible voters cannot be responsible representatives like Maharaj. That's what we can see now. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the first canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Passing of Vishnu in the Presence of Lord Krishna. So, at last we successfully completed. Yes, we'll just take some questions. Yes, Mataji. You have any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danvat Pranam.
Danvat Pranam. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, I know it's a very silly question, but still I want to ask. These calendars do not come in chronological order because now we are in Kali Yuga, and whatever happened was in Dwapara Yuga, because the advent of Bhagavad Gita comes in December, and then Bhishma Dev left his body in Uttarayana. And then we also fast for Bhishma Panchaka, which comes 5 days before, in the Kartik month. So I just want to know the sequence of the pastimes.
Oh, these two pastimes are very simple, Mataji. Bhagavad Gita, this Kurukshetra battle happened in December, and then in February, Bhishma Dev was waiting because the Uttarayana that starts from Sankranti time, that is January 14th. So he was waiting till January 14th. And after January 14th, then he was continuing giving instructions to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Before that time, Yudhishthir came. After the battle of Kurukshetra, it is only 18 days. After Bhagavad Gita, plus 18 days is Kurukshetra is over. And then they come to meet Bhishma Dev. Maybe after a few days. After coming Bhishma Dev, he instructs till it comes till February, almost like February. And then Bhishma Dev leaves. When it
so
comes
that is Bhimashtami, Prabhu. Bhimashtami is the day he leaves the body, or is his birthday?
I think Ratha Saptami day something he leaves.
Okay.
And then what comes in Kartik Bhishma Panchak, that is nothing to do with passing away of Bhishma Dev. That is, he is just doing his vrata. People try to follow this.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
So
I thought on the battlefield he was lying down and fasting without even water. So that is what I was confused.
People write so many stories.
Okay, that's what I want to know from you.
Like
authoritative.
This year Adhik Mas will come. You will see how many stories will come from so many Puranas. And you go to Purana, you will not find even one of them also. People say, according to Padma Puran, and Adhik Mas, you have to do these things. You go to Padma Puran, you will not find even one word of Adhik Mas only. So all these things come anyway because it is favorable to Krishna consciousness. We can do, but people, there is no source of many of the things. People just create.
I know, Prabhu. I think we should just follow what Prabhupada said, and
it makes simple.
Yeah, I know.
Now, Adhik Mas, you will see so many people will put status, this, that, but that is not in any of the Puranas. At least Padma Puran, it is not there. You can refer to Padma. If you want to say anything and you want to quote Purana, you can say Skanda Purana. Skanda Purana has 70,000 verses. Nobody can find also. So people, if they want to say anything, which Purana, they'll say Skanda Purana.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare
Krishna.
You want anything and you want to say some Purana, you tell Skanda. Nobody can find also, and you are always right. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwadev ki jai.